Hi everyone, it's Matt Record. It's Saturday, May 24th on this beautiful Memorial Day weekend Saturday, and I'm at the State Park Speedway. And today I decided to come out and do a visit. As a lot of you may know, the track is closed and will probably never reopen. But I decided I wanted to come out here and do a video, walking around the whole entire facility. I already did a walk around and took a bunch of photos. So let's get at it. I'm at the start finish line, so we'll do a little walk around and go from there. All right, we're at the start finish line. Here's the flag stand. This is Ryan Manufacturing. I'm guessing that's old because I don't think I've ever seen that. Probably was covered up with other advertisement signs over the years. Here's where Victory Lane was at. You could drive in here. It's blocked off with all these barricades. And there's the patio, you can say, in the middle. People would stand up there and just watch the race or take pictures, video, racetrack employees would be up there. All right. We're heading towards turn one. When I got here, there was actually two other people I pulled up. They were here for the same reason I was. It made me I talked with them for a little bit. They were from Texas, but it's good that I'm not the only one out here trying to, check out the facility. Just taking photos. Okay. Well, there's the tire barrier. Seen a lot of drivers crash into this over the years. Got these two big monster truck tires. I go in the middle of turns 1 and 2 here. Here's a shot of the infield. For myself, I started coming here in the summer of 2017 when I moved here. This place quickly became my, second home, you can say, in the Wausau, Wisconsin area. Made a lot of friends here, met a lot of great people here. So this track closing really hits me hard in a lot of ways. But, all right. Here's the entrance to the pit area. You got tire barriers up there. I'm guessing, I don't think there were tires here. People have probably been moving them here on their own, I know some other people have probably visited this place. There's a tire there, they had tires wrapped around the light pole. Go down there would have been a bunch of advertisement boards here. They're all gone. And we're in the back straightaway. Another side of the infield. You would have tow trucks or an ambulance out here. And if it was like a really big event with a lot of cars here, you might have had some of the four-cylinder drivers pit in the infield. And this is how you would get in the infield, this small little pavement pad here. This light pole here, back in it's 2023, Race Hayes actually hit this pole during a late model feature and knocked it over. They were able to run the rest of the race program, but that was quite the moment to get. I even got that on camera and stuff. But they put it back up, so just thought I'd say that. Coming across, getting to turn 3 here. There's the scoreboard. And more tires. They had tires on each turn here, you know, just in case the driver went flying into them. The tires protecting the light pole here, these big monster truck tires. Alright, we're on the banking of turns 3 going into 4 here. You know, occasionally I would be out in this track after the races or whatever, so this isn't my first time walking this track. I remember the last couple Enduros, they would do trick-or-treating for the kids here, so that was one time I was able to walk the track. It's cool to get out on this track every so often and do a little walk around. This is the first time I'm doing a video of it. Alright, we're up in turn 4. There is an entrance to the grandstand area here. A lot of these tires also here. Gate is open. It was open when I got here. So some junk here. This is probably left over from the Enduro or the Eva Destruction maybe. Here's one of the balconies. There would be picnic tables out here and stuff. They still got them here. They got them arched up against the grandstand right now. I'm guessing they're going to try selling those. I'll go up in this bigger patio. I've been up here occasionally to watch races. Wasn't my favorite spot though to watch a race, so I would just come up here and for a quick visit sometimes. You can sit on these benches. You can also walk in back and get to that back patio if you wanted to. This was like a back storage area. Some of the fences falling apart here. I don't know if that might have been done more recently. I don't know. That's what I found when I got here. So we got a lot of their chairs here, and this was like another patio. I know for a couple years they had like a tiki bar here. I don't think it was used too much. Maybe for a couple years. They eventually discontinued that concept. This is the main concession building. Here, I'll go back there in a few minutes. I'm gonna go up to the grandstands. Alright, this is off at turn 4. And I'm gonna walk up this railing. Here, we'll get a good shot of the parking lot from here. There's my car. Like I said, I'm the only one here, but what I said earlier in the video, these 2 people pulled up in a minivan. They were from Texas. It made me a little nervous at first, but they asked me if I owned the place, and I said no. And I said, "Oh, you're just here visiting like we are." And yeah, I chatted with them for a couple minutes. They only stayed for a couple minutes, took some photos, and left. But it was good to see some other people out here doing this type of thing. Okay, here's a shot of the racetrack. All right, we'll go back down. I'll tell you how many times I walked in front of this grandstand. Just, it's really emotional to be here right now, you know. This could be my last time here. Because it was announced the other day that they're gonna tear this place apart and put in like biking trails, I don't know, maybe some recreational skiing, you know, recreational type stuff. There's even talk of like putting like a coffee shop or some kind of brewery here. There's a couple of news articles on it on Facebook. You can check that out, look that up for yourself, and see what it looks like. Here, we'll walk up these other this other railing. This was the press box. I actually got to do some announcing here one time for a couple of races with Kurt Keene. That was the only time I ever did any kind of announcing here. Up here, you had spotters or camera people filming the races. Thought I heard something. Hope no one's here. I think we're good. I hope I don't get asked to leave. You know, I just want to. I'm not here to cause trouble, just to film a video. But you know, this was the press box. Announcing, scoring went on here, you know, stuff like that. Like I said, I got to do some announcing for one night here for a couple races and some qualifying. That was a real great experience. I'm really glad Kurt Keene let me do it at least once. Always wanted to be a racetrack announcer, but you know, filming races is the next best thing. So, and I'm glad I've been doing it for the last 7-8 years, and we'll continue to do it. This light pole got knocked down. Maybe it was storm damage or something, but that's what it looked like when I got here. Some of that green fencing looks like that fell off. Could be storm damage, could be maybe someone just ripped it off. This is pretty much where I did most of my filming, over here on the top there. Here, I figure I'll go up there again. Oh God, these grandstands are. I'll take the railing. Grandstands aren't the greatest, boy. They're okay, but they're not the greatest. Probably shouldn't stay up here for too long. Who knows what can happen to these grandstands. I want to say it was pretty much right here I filmed. Right here. If you go on Wisconsin stock car racing videos on YouTube, this is where I did a lot of the filming. Right up here. Okay, and then I would sit over there. Or I'm going to go down there anyway. Oh. Just gotta be careful. Not sure how old these grandstands are, but I know they're pretty old. But they were good enough for the racetrack, you know. Can't always have modern stuff. I would pretty much sit over here, mostly off of turn 1. I had friends here. the Volm family mainly. I was good friends with the Goralskis, the Heinrichs, the Mackesy family. That's pretty much was my group of people here. And they're all still racing at other tracks like Golden Sands and Marshfield Motor Speedway. Now this grandstand is more modern. Matter of fact, I think there used to be a pit entrance here. I've seen it on old videos and photos. This is a newer grandstand. Maybe I'll go up in it. I've never really sat over here too much. But it's not a bad view though. Yeah, I wouldn't mind enjoying the races from here, really. This grandstand could probably even be used somewhere else. Not sure if they sold it, if someone will buy it. Oop, bunny rabbit. I've seen rabbits and birds here. Pretty much the only residents here now. We got a school bus parked there. There's a couple other vehicles. People have been here. Probably the owners, but they're not here today. This is another concession stand that's been used. But the main one, we'll get to that in a minute. That white trailer is a bathroom. This is the playground and the kids club. They sold candy and other knickknacks here, bubble gum, chalkboard. This is some really good playground equipment. That can definitely go somewhere. This is kind of like a promotional area. You might have saw like the WCAR club here, the Women's Concern for Auto Racing, doing their things here. Here is the front entrance. This is where you got your race tickets. You can occasionally buy race tickets on the other end, but this would be the area you go. You might have had souvenir tables out here occasionally, or sometimes. This was the souvenir stand where you get your shirts, your hats, your whatever. Really wish I can go in here with this was the Speedway bar. It's all locked up. I'm not gonna try to go in it. Even if there was an open door, I wouldn't even go in it. I want to be respectful here and not cause any trouble. But the Speedway bar, this was the place to come to after the races, and people would be here till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I did that too. sometimes I probably would leave. I wouldn't quite stay till 2 or 3 too often, but I'd be here till 12, 1 o'clock sometimes when I could. It was a Thursday night racetrack, so it was hard to stay here late at night, unless if I took work off the next day. There's another entrance to the bar. And then here's the main concession stand. You could walk in there. That door broke sometime during last race season. It's boarded up. There is stuff in there. I'm not going to peek in there again. I did that on my own, but there's stuff in there. Got ladders, trash cans that just need to be picked up. I'm going to go in the pit area now. Nothing too much to see there. I mean, I already walked around it, but I'll go in it. I do want to say I know I'm not really supposed to be here, but I wanted to do this. I felt I had to, and I'm not here vandalizing. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm just here to kind of make this video and share the memories with everyone before this place gets torn up. So I thought this would be a good day to do it. Hung around here a lot. You know, you can watch people in the pit area work on their cars. Walk out of here. This booth, you can occasionally, they would occasionally use this for ticket sales, but not often, mainly for bigger events. Yep. This is the pit shack. This is where you bought pit passes and stuff. I think this board, they might have had lineups or something, where that old Sunoco sign's there. Old trailers, I guess, you know, they put tires and stuff in them. Here's the scale. You weigh your car, you know, I think that was like the top 3 got scaled here. And after winning a feature, getting 2nd or 3rd in a feature. And for other things. Another opening there to the pit area. That was usually locked, but it's open. I could actually drive in here if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to take things that far. This is where mostly late models or pure stocks would pit. Would work on their cars. There might have been some teams here too that would pit if it really got crowded in here. They had 4 pit slabs here. This wasn't a really big facility. They really, if they had a lot of cars here for a big event, they really packed them in here. That's why they would use that infield pit area for the 4 cylinders occasionally. I think it's for like the Degens weekend you would see that. And over here they would probably have a concession stand, or there would be like a trailer selling race parts. We'll just walk over here. Now back there, mainly the 4-cylinder teams would pit back here. There was 2 4-cylinder divisions here, the mini mods and the mini stacks. We also had bandoleros, a couple, they were a staple here, and they would come out maybe 5-6 times a year. And then the last 2 years we had legend cars here. One of the last big races done here was a 5,000 to win legend car race. It was the Phil Bickley 55 race. It was kind of like the last, I don't know, it wasn't the last event. The Enduro was really the last event, but it was like the last, like late model, pure stock, 4-cylinder race event that was done here last August. Sometimes late model teams would park back here too. So it wasn't just the 4-cylinder drivers, but mainly 4-cylinder teams would park back here. I know you had to rent these pit slabs out, so you know. So if you didn't really want to rent out a pit slab, I guess you would pit back here. I think, but I don't know. Someone else would have to give you the details on how it would go about renting a pit slab or not. But you had a safe zone, or the safe area. Not sure how old this pavement is, but it is really old. It's really bumpy. As you can see, it is really bumpy. I'm I'm sure racing a late model especially was really bumpy. You got used to it, but they did some repaving up in turns 3 and 4, and they even did a slab there, but yeah, really bumpy track over the last, I don't know, 10, 20 years, I guess. I'm going to walk to the pit stand, or I mean the flag stand. And end this video in a couple minutes. Here's the infield pit area. Old no smoking sign. Ooh, it's getting chilly again. It was getting warm, but I'm zipping my coat up. Sun was out, but now it's getting cloudy, so. Bird. Not the only thing you can hear out here. Birds, some rabbits running around, other wildlife. There's a ladder here. I'm gonna walk up it. I've done this before. All right. Yep, still secure. Just don't trip over this. I'll be honest, I have almost tripped over that a couple times. Wow. Start finish line there, it's already peeling up. Yeah, even if you were to race on here again, that would probably have to be patched up. So another shot of the flag stand. And that Ryan Manufacturing, I don't remember ever seeing that. I'm guessing that's old. You know, they've had other sponsorship on that, and they would just put it right over. Go to the main entrance. I'm going to get one final shot here of something. There's this sign up there. Here, I'm going to have to go over here. I don't know how good of a shot I can get of that sign. Maybe it's more of a banner than a sign, but I would like to see someone rescue that beer sign and even that State Park Speedway sign. I don't really have the means to even get it. You would probably have to get permission from the owners to even get it down anyway, but I would like to just see someone try to rescue those two signs and preserve them. Alright, the camera around. That's about it for today. I hope everyone's having a nice Memorial Day weekend. I'm probably going to go to a race or two. I'm thinking about going to Dells or Jefferson. I haven't even decided yet. I think it's about 1 o'clock, so I better decide. But, you know, this may be the last video I'll do here. You know, maybe if the facility sits here for another year or two, maybe I'll come out and do another video. But, you know, it's pretty doubtful that this racetrack will ever reopen. You know, we just got to move on, you know, with our lives, you know. So, you know, there's other racetracks. So, Golden Sands, Marshfield, Wisconsin Dells, Jefferson, Madison, all kinds of dirt tracks, you know. As long as you're a race fan, you know, go somewhere, support your local racetrack, because you don't know when it's going to close, you know. You never know. One day it'll just close, you know. It'll be unexpected. At least at State Park, we had one final season that we knew it was going to be at. And, you know, it's going to turn into something else eventually. It might be it might be a year or two, it might be a couple of years, but it looks like it's definitely going to turn into, you know, something of like recreational use, like walking paths or mountain biking or, you know, cross-country skiing, snowmobile trails. I know there's a snowmobile trail that's been going through here for years. I actually saw the entrance right before I did this video. You know, it is what it is. There's no use hating on the, you know, the Wimmer family. They kept this track going for the better half of, what is it, 13, 14 years. I understand their reasonings for having to finally, you know, give up on it. And I'm just glad we had I'm just glad I had a track. You know, I moved to Wausau from the state of Illinois, and glad to have a racetrack, you know, almost 10, 15 minutes from my home for those 7, 8 years. And, you know, anyway, that's all I have to say for now. You know, I'll continue filming races at, you know, Marshfield, Golden Sands, you know, maybe even some other racetracks. But definitely those two facilities, and, you know, I'll continue doing that for as long as I want to. You know, I like doing it. I like the attention it gets for me. And, you know, I just can't, you know, these days I got to be doing something more than just sit up in those grandstands, you know. So filming races, you know, that's what I started doing, you know, 7, 8 years ago for Travis Foam, Alex Foam, and eventually, I think it was like 2 years ago, I started like filming all the features. So anyway, this is Matt Record signing off. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and I'll see you at a racetrack near you. Bye.